Salam alaikum, Mr.
Peace.
Munir.
Alaikum assalam. Peace be upon you, man.
Peace be upon you as well. How are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good, doing very, very good.
How's uh how's your day so far?
The day so far, electric. Had a nice morning. Played with my daughter.
Electric.
Electric, yeah, electric. Walked a lot. I walked like 5 kilometers today, at least. That's like three
Wh-
miles.
Why?
Well, I I um I I had to leave my kid at her grandmom, and then afterwards, because I didn't have a car with me, so it was either
Mm,
that or wait for a bus. And I said, I don't want to wait for a bus, and just started walking and walking and walking and walking. And I crossed like 5 kilometers.
it's European life, man.
European life, had my headsets in, had a, Quran, Surah Al-Kahf, and
Wow.
yeah, it was a nice journey.
Wow. How's your commitment to
So
the
so far so good, man. But it's only a fifth day, so you never know.
including sehur, only doing dates
Three,
and
only 3 dates and water,
wow.
nothing else. So that's
Wow. I
been
had
like
that
the
this
whole.
morning actually. I had 3 dates, 3 grapes and coffee and water. First day that
Mashallah.
I did.
I might put coffee in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't think that's, but I think I'll feel better if I do. 5 days has been nice. I don't feel heavy at all. But I kind of miss coffee, and I don't see a great burden, or I don't see a great problem, a big problem in having a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
It,
Wasn't
it will
coffee
not be
invented by
Americano.
Arabs?
Yeah, the story is the coffee is invented in Yemen,
Okay.
and there is whole symbolic story behind it. I forgot the symbolic story how it's created, because people in the past, when they used to um, remember stuff, they would put a symbolic story behind an actual
Um,
fact, and then they would generations would just memorize that symbolic story, and then you would have the story. But just like there is a Greek mythology or Roman mythology, everything is bunch of like magical stuff or whatnot, something impossible, but there is some kind of truth maybe in the
right,
middle. And same
right,
with the coffee.
right. Yeah, it's crazy, man, how times change, you know? It's like how documentation of events was like that before, where, they would, in order to document something, I mean, it would turn into more of a mythical thing.
They would, yeah. That was the case up until the writing was invented, and especially up until the mass books, whatever was in or the printing was invented in 16th century. From the 16th century, you have science, real science, because no longer you have those mythical stuff, because everything is recorded on the paper. And then when it's on the paper, people start putting facts and not really symbolic stuff, because symbolic stuff is meant for a vocal um, narration and something like that. So that's why
Now,
in Bosnia as well, we have a lot of epical stories from the past, especially northwestern part of Bosnia, where your wife is from. That's amazing, amazing history of Bosnia is narrated through the epical stories. So that's before writing.
right. Um, you said something and I was going to ask a question, but it just escaped me. Um, how was yesterday?
Yesterday
Recap the day for
was
us.
yesterday was good. Yesterday, almost every driver that we had available was booked. Almost,
Wow.
right? We had yesterday we had 40 just give me one
7 loads.
second. 47 loads, 41 available drivers were booked. So six of them got a load after as well, with bin ratio of 10.51.
Wow,
And
that's good.
almost every available driver was booked. Couple of drivers were not and mainly guys, sadly, those with restrictions or home buys. But we understand that the home buy is something that we need to work around. So we're trying to use this Friday as good as we can to get those couple of guys home.
So
So
the
I
drivers
was
that are not that were not booked, that have been waiting for since at least yesterday, 8 a.m. Meaning, let's go back actually to noon. Well, there's a guy in Illinois who's got a very restricted map where, I mean, everything is almost red. There's Arkansas, there's New Mexico. That's painful to see, man.
yeah
Um, Kentucky, which I assume is due to the settings, and it is.
yeah yeah.
Yeah,
Then
this is,
one guy in Iowa and one guy in Laredo.
yeah. Well, the Kentucky situation, I mean, I'm looking at, and there's a 250 miles max around home with 275 minimum pay. Um, that's a thing that needs to be addressed because if you're that limited with loads, there might only be one or two loads that are in that range, every few hours. And if you're limited with pay, if there's a 50-mile load, we're not going to get it for 275. Most of the time, that load's going to get covered for 100 or 150. There's a guy in Iowa, minimum pay 300. Yeah, what I want us to do today, man, is there's a guy in Laredo. That sucks to see too, and then everyone else is normal waiting time. So that's good to see, man. There's only 4 or 5 people. As a fleet, that's good to see. We always talk about for these 4 or 5 people, it doesn't
Mm,
matter if we book 1,000 loads yesterday, they didn't get one. So therefore, I mean, they remain priority to get them going as early as possible. Um, but we got to work on these minimum load pays because there's a lot of people here that have 400, 300. Look, right now, mm, as close to 100, 150, really, because you're gonna be missing out on a lot of these connection load. It's like if you get 2 or 3 loads that pay 150 in between your bigger loads, you might be looking at an additional 400 or 500 bucks, which pays for your, part of your fuel that week or whatever. Especially when there's other restrictions. That's the biggest,
mm.
most dangerous thing.
Yeah, I would say that we need to focus on the guys that have other restrictions, such as mileage restriction and minimum pay. If
Yeah,
someone is open, everything is green, and he has $300, right? We can live with that. We'll book him eventually, but of course we can, if he wants to go down, okay. But if someone has 250 miles around home and 275, that's a problematic thing.
yeah,
Apart from that, it was a good day. Uh, it was a good day. Kind of in the middle of it, we were struggling, but the beginning and the end were very, very good, and I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see how it went. Some of the guys that were waiting in difficult spots, such as one guy in California, two guys in Laredo, one guy in Florida, all of them were booked.
good.
Um, the only problematic, you just mentioned the guy in New Mexico. I know for a fact he was in California, so he's probably relocating without giving us a heads up because he was in California yesterday. So I'll check that immediately after, or someone should check that as soon as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man, because he's also got a minimum rate per mile of 70 cents in there for US loads. 70 cents is typically about as low as we go. But when you've been waiting, like in his case, he's been waiting without a load for about almost 2 days, almost 2 days. You gotta just, have a mentality of if I need to get booked for a little bit less than that, but it's tough. It's so tough. It's so tough because you also don't want to get booked for a cheap price. And by the time you pay for fuel and everything else, sometimes you
That's
find
right.
yourself in this lose-lose situation, man, that, you know, The best thing to do sometimes is just get booked, get to a better area, and then keep the show moving from there. Um, Anything else operationally?
Not really. Not really operationally. Nothing specific happened yesterday. Um, Hey, quick question, Ali. One quick question that I need your expertise and experience to get a right answer. When the driver is asked to print paperwork, and you've been a driver, when you get to the truck stop or whatever you need to print, one piece of paper, let's say 30 pieces of paper, how much is per paper printing?
Um, Maybe $1 a paper.
Yeah, here's the thing. We have sometimes customers that say printing paperwork needed. And we don't know if it's one paper. And we had on occasions 15, 20 papers plus to print for specific shipments that are airlines or something like that. And the drivers are not happy because they need to
Mm-hmm.
pay dollar, sometimes even more for one piece of paper. I
Mm-hmm.
think we should, in those specific notes, we should incorporate some kind of bonus on top of the rate for drivers that are printing just for not just for the papers, but just for the trouble as well.
What do you mean?
Well, when the customer is requesting to print paperwork um, upfront, if it's one paper, of course, if it's just BOL, we will not ask anything on top of that. But I think we should inquire to see, what we are printing because it happened on multiple occasions that we have 20, 30 papers to print for some reason. Um, and
I would
then
almost
driver,
say it's better to just handle that on a case by case. I mean, I imagine that it doesn't happen often that we have 20 papers.
yeah, it's
If I
not
had
it's
to
not often.
guess, I would say it happens once every 3 months. I mean, we can add $20 to that load and pay driver out of pocket, out of our, from our pocket. Um, if it's a reasonable customer, we can casually mention it. Hey guys, the guy had to print this stuff. He ended up having to pay $50. Are you guys able to compensate anything for that? But what you don't want to do, man, is be petty. You don't want to be you don't want to go to someone and say, "Can you add $7 to this load?" Because that's just
Sure.
like,
Yeah, that's not
right?
what
Like
I
the
meant. Yeah,
customer's looking at it and they're like, "We give you guys $500,000 a year in business. You're really gonna come to me because of $7?" And that's not what you meant, but I would just handle those on a case by case, and we'll pay the driver. We'll make it right. If it's something, I don't know, man. I would say for the drivers too, don't be petty. I mean, if it's $1 or two, just freaking pay it. But if something's gonna cost you 15, $20, then let us know and we'll compensate you. We'll pay you.
sure
All of
thing.
it's on a case by case. The driver should never have to pay $20 or $15 or even $10, I would say, um, without being, reimbursed. And the same thing for us, because there are those customers, man. You've dealt with all of them. There are some that would be like, of course, we'll pay you, no problem at all. And then there's others that would get all bent out of shape, and their feelings would be hurt if we try to incorporate that into the price.
That's right.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Favorite movie. Man, I've watched so many. My favorite movie. Um, I don't know. I don't have I don't know if you do, but I don't have a list at home that says, okay, Munir's favorite color, Munir's favorite movie, Munir's favorite. I don't have that. I
Okay,
cannot.
favorite color.
Um, Green. But
Is
the
it on your
green,
list?
olive green.
Is it on your
Uh,
list?
that's something I thought about before, but favorite
Well, put it
movies.
put it on the list, man.
Okay, I'll think about it, put it on the list. For now, I'll put olive green as my favorite color because that's on the list.
Cool. Um, Words of wisdom, and then we'll finish up.
Quality is never an accident. It's always a result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives.
Hold on,
Guys,
man.
remember that.
Break that down because you lost me.
Okay, I'll be slowly, I'll be molasses like. Quality is never an accident. It
Okay.
is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives.
It represents the wise choice of many alternatives.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to stew in that one for a bit.
Yeah, something specifically reminding me of this, but it is a message for our drivers as well. Um, and thank you guys, those guys, all of you guys, for being so professional sometimes that I cannot even imagine a better driver than some of you guys on the road that are providing a really, really high quality service.
What about others?
Communication through the roof. Others get better
You s-
ASAP.
Do more, get better. All right, man. We'll conclude there.
Alrighty. Hey, and just want to say something, even though you don't want, but I will say to all those haters out there,
Uh-huh.
BHX stands tall.
We stand tall, yes, sir. Um,
Alrighty.
just wanted to, I think, add one thing. Follow up with a quote again, man. My mind has been playing tricks on me, man. It presents a stupid idea as a really good idea, and then takes it away. And then I'm sitting there like, man, I had a really good idea there. And then like it returns it to me, and I'm like, no, that wasn't really good. So we'll conclude there. Salam alaikum. Be safe, everyone.
Alex, salam, you too.